Hey everyone, welcome to another Friday devotion with Chappy Josh here. Hey, I want to talk quickly about privilege. It's something that I've probably taken for granted my entire life. I'm white, I'm male, I'm in the top 4.3% of wealthy people according to Google on my 4-day week pastor slash chaplain wage. I went to a private school. I grew up in a family where my parents have the same three kids to each other. There's no step brothers and sisters, the nuclear family, I suppose you could call it. I hope that's the right word. We didn't bomb people with nuclear weapons. That's not what I meant. If I've said the wrong word, I apologise. But it was when I became a paraplegic a few years ago that I really began to understand what it means to be disadvantaged. And the moment for me came when I went to the beach for the very first time. And I didn't yet have my cool army chair that I have that gets onto the beach and has huge big tyres, and so I actually couldn't even get onto the sand. And so I watched, my friends go down and go for a swim and all this kind of stuff. And we've all had an ugly cry, and I had this ugly cry into a towel, and it was just awful. It was just like this moment of like, oh my goodness, I can't do what I used to do, and this is so unfair. And even for my family and friends at the time, they were very understanding and very helpful. And of course, now I can access the beach a little bit better and things like that. But that's not the point of my story. The point is, I think for many of us, we can hear the stories of the people around us. And particularly in the last couple of weeks, we've heard many stories of how people have just had it rough, that's putting it mildly, but you know what I mean. And I don't think we can fully grasp that unless we've experienced it. And I'm not for a moment saying now I understand racism, I understand the stolen generation, and I understand, women not getting paid the same amount as men through the years and things like that. I'm not saying I understand that, but I think it's important for us to want to understand that, to try to engage with some of that stuff, and stop saying things like all lives matter. Of course, all lives matter. All these silly arguments that we throw out, like, well, hang on a minute, I've been advantaged. Don't you dare say I'm not advantaged all of a sudden. I think those arguments are ludicrous. There was this dude in the Bible actually named Zacchaeus, and I love it. It's one of my favourite verses. I love weird verses in the Bible, and it's like Luke 19:3. You can look this up, and it says, because Zacchaeus was a short man, he had to climb a tree to see the Lord, which is quite funny if you think about it. And not that he was short, that's not the funny part. It's the fact that it says it in such a formal way. Anyway, so Zacchaeus is a tax collector. He's a short dude. He's not a dude that people want to hang out with. But in this crowd of people, Jesus is walking past, and he points up the tree and he says to Zacchaeus, hey, I want to spend time with you. You got to understand how crazy that is. That's like me lining up with a bunch of blonde six-pack dudes for a home and away tryout and getting selected as the new actor. It just would never happen. My one-pack would not look good on TV, I'm telling you that. Sorry, forget your mental image. Get that out of your head. Let's try again. But that's what it was like. And there are so many stories where this happened. Another story that was crazy was when Jesus was in a room with some people, and this lady walks in, a prostitute, cracks open a bottle of really expensive perfume, puts it on his bare feet, gets her long hair and starts wiping his feet with it. That's weird in the first place. But the fact that she's a prostitute that does this, that's outrageous, right? But Jesus is like, hey, what this lady has done for me is amazing, and she will be remembered. And here we are, a couple of thousand years later, still talking about that story. One of the other parts of the Bible that I think really hammers this point home about Jesus caring about, especially caring about the underprivileged, is the parable of the lost sheep. It's a made-up story. It's a story Jesus made up to get a point across. And it's an amazing story. 100 sheep in a farmyard, in a sheep pen, whatever it's called. One goes out. What does the shepherd do? Asks Jesus. The shepherd, he goes after the one. He leaves the 99 where they are, and he goes after the one. And when he finds the one and he brings it back, he has a huge celebration. I love that. This is who Jesus is. He actually cares so much about the underprivileged. He cares so much about people who are disadvantaged. Again, in my short couple of years that I've had where I've had a few disadvantages and things not go well, man, Jesus has been so close to my heart, and I reckon I'd be dead without him. So whoever you are, Christian or not, I want to tell you that Jesus sees you. He cares more about you than anyone else does. And he especially cares for those people who are doing it tough. And my other point is for my Christian brothers and sisters who are watching this. We've got to be passionate about that. We should be the most passionate about social justice. We should be the most passionate about underprivileged people. Why? Because that's who our God is, and that's what He's mandated us to do. So it's my prayer today, whoever's watching this, that maybe this video might change the heart of even one person. I pray that my actions are louder than just my words on this video. I know that doesn't mean anything necessarily. But ultimately, I pray that for our world, with everything that's gone on in the last couple of weeks, I pray that this is a turning point in history, where the underprivileged people who haven't had it as good as everyone else, where that equality starts to play out a little bit better. And finally, if you need someone to talk to, I'd love to talk to you. Otherwise, reach out to a friend, a family member. Don't go it alone if you need some help. Hope everyone has an awesome week. See you later.